Dottie this week is her recall. So we've done a lot of name recognition, so she knows when I call her name, I'm talking to her. But now we're going to start using the word come, and I'll kind of show you how to do that. Starters, using, excuse me, ma'am. Starting off, when you're doing recall, you want to have a long line on. You want to have that security so that when you call her and she doesn't listen, you can guide her back with the leash so she knows, hey, I called you, you have to come back to me no matter what, because that's how you're going to build that strong recall. You're going to make it fun, you're going to make it positive, you're going to use high value treats. It's going to be a good party every time she comes back to you. So what I do here is I'm going to say, Dottie, and if she doesn't look at me, I'm still going to wait, and I'll use my long line, and I'll say, Dottie, come! Yes! Good girl! Good job! Okay. So you saw how I said her name, and she kind of was like, I'm chewing on a stick, whatever, didn't really care. And then you notice how I kind of was like, Dottie! And I got really excited. Yes, come! Good girl! That's how, yes, good girl! Yes! Okay. That's how you're going to get your dog to come to you. Because you want to be the best thing that's going on in that environment. You know, we're out here, and there's sticks, there's other smells, there's stuff going on. For her to be distracted, you know, like we don't have dogs out right now, and we'll build off of that recall by adding a distraction. But right now, I want her focus, I want her attention, I want to work on getting her to come to me, I want to make it fun so that every time I call her, she's like, oh my gosh, I get treats, it's super cool, we love it. So when I'm calling her, if you've noticed, I get her in right here, right into like this pocket, and I want to grab her by the collar, because this to me is a safety thing. I don't want her to think that if I grab her by the collar, she kind of backs away. I want it to be like, yeah, good girl. Because if I'm calling her away from like an emergency, I want her to come right to me so I can grab her. Like if, you know, calling her away from the road or another dog or anything like that, I want her to know, I want you right here every time I call you. And that also develops a habit, a good habit of her coming straight to you instead of doing a drive-by, in the sense of you can call her and then she's like, okay, I'm coming, and then continues that way. That also will help in that aspect of things. Okay, good girl. And then when I'm done calling her, like recall is a command, so that's come to me and hang out by me until I release you. So when we develop that, I know you want to play with the leash. So when you develop that, you're going to get her to come to you and hang out, and then when I'm done with you, just say, okay, and use the release command. But having this long line is super important, especially when you're exposing her to new environments. Like if you go to a dog park, you're going to want a long line if that's the first time she's been there, because this is going to be what's going to guide her in the sense of when you're calling her and she gets distracted, you still have this to guide her in. Dottie! Dottie! So she's ignoring me. I'm going to use this long line. Dottie! Come! Yes! Good girl! See how important that long line is to guide her, because she would have totally blown me off if I didn't have that. And then that would have kind of created a little bit of a game in the sense of then I would have approached her and then she would have been like, oh, we're playing tag, this is a game, and she would have thought it was funny to run away. We don't want to do that. Never chase after your dog. You always want her to come to you, and that's why it's so important to have this long line. So, but Dottie's doing really great. She was responding well. So yeah, that's what we're doing.